All right, welcome back to the second article of the week. This article of the week is called The World's Fastest Eaters. Now, you might think they're a bunch of sixth graders at Crossroads Intermediate School, but you are mistaken. There's people that eat faster than you do. So we're going to read about that today. You need to have your copy of the article, and you also need to have your copy of the Cornell notes because that's what we do on the first day. I'm going to read the article, the different parts of it, and talk you through the article and how it's organized and point out a few things. And then I'm going to pause the video to give you a chance to write down key facts for each section of the article. So if you don't have those two documents out and ready to go ahead and do that. Pause this video. Also, go ahead and write your name and the title and the author at the top of your Cornell notes. The title is The World's Fastest Eaters. And wait a minute, we might not have an author on this one. So for author, you can put N/A, which means not applicable. Not applicable. So that is after the title, it's N/A. We don't know who the author is. Okay. I'm going to pause the video so you can get yourselves organized. Okay. So just to review, we are going to be pausing after the different sections, the introduction, the heading called titled The Fierce Competition, the heading, the history of speed eating, and the last section, the heading, behind the scenes. And you're looking for key facts, important information, at least 2, no less than 2 per section. All right, the world's fastest eaters. Competitive eating is an intriguing sport. Yes, it's a sport, and it's drawing more and more attention each year. Sometimes referred to as speed eating, it's a battle of who can eat more food in a set time, typically 10 to 15 minutes. The sport is often sanctioned or officiated by the International Federation of Competitive Eating. This organization hosts, sets the rules, and judges the most famous competitive eating events in the world. All right, that was the introduction. I want you to pause the video and I want you to note 2 important facts from the introduction in your Cornell notes. Go ahead and do that now. All right, we're going to move on to the first header titled The Fierce Competition. On July 4th, 2018, Joey Jaws Chestnut returned to the annual Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. He had his eye on the prize, the coveted mustard belt, which he had already claimed 10 times in this event, and a world record on top of that. Chestnut had prepared well for the event. He was confident he would take home the belt. He didn't let any of the other heavyweight eaters like Matt Megatoad Stoney intimidate him. Joey barreled through his heaping plates of Nathan's hot dogs. He alternated between fistfuls of hot dogs and soaking wet bread. He ignored his body's natural cries for mercy. He never stopped, not when he almost got a hot dog lodged in his throat, and not when he noticed a counting error on the electronic scoreboard. His determination paid off. He won the mustard belt for the 11th time, $10,000 cash, and broke his own world record of 72 hot dogs. Joey Jaws Chestnut ate 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes. At age 34, he currently holds 43 world records. All right. So you need to write down 2, if not 3, maybe even 4 important facts. There were a lot of statistics in that section, a lot of details that you could include in your Cornell notes. So head back to your Cornell notes and add those now. All right, we are going to head into the next section with the header, "The History of Speed Eating." I want you to notice how this article is organized. It's similar to our first article where there's a little introduction. The fierce competition kind of introduces us to Joey Jaws Chestnuts, almost like a biographical section, a lot like the Elon Musk article had a biographical section. Now we're heading into the history of speed eating, giving you some background information, and that's very similar to our first article and how it's organized. So the history of speed eating. Eating contests actually began as friendly pie eating contests at county fairs and picnics. These contests included children and adults. They sat side by side, typically with their hands tied. The contestants would dive down face first and pig out. The first to finish was declared the winner. Traditional eating contests of other food items like hot dogs and pizza have been around since the early 1900s. Nathan's hot dog eating contest began in 1916 when 4 immigrants held the contest just to prove who was more patriotic. The sport, however, caught the eye of the competitive market in the early 2000s. A Japanese contestant of the famous hot dog eating competition by the name of Takuro Kobayashi won 6 consecutive contests from 2001 to 2006. In 2001, Kobayashi shattered the standing record of 25.5 hot dogs by gobbling 50 hot dogs in 10 minutes. His incredible skill introduced the concept of true advanced speed eating and training techniques used by speed eaters today. Nathan's hot dog eating contest draws crowds of about 40,000 to 50,000 each year, and it broadcasts each year on ESPN2. All right, I'm going to pause here. You need to head back to your Cornell notes, and under the heading, "The History of Speed Eating," I'm going to say 3 to 4 facts for this one. There's plenty of facts for you to note. You have to decide which ones you think are the key facts or the most important facts for this article. Go ahead and do that now. And then finally, the last section is headed "Behind the Scenes." Behind the scenes. One thing I neglected to go over is this image here of Joey Jaws Chestnut. This is when he won the contest. You can see him holding the mustard belt, and it shows how many hot dogs he ate. 74 hot dogs on July 4th, 2018. That was described in the article. So that's an important text feature that I neglected to point out. All right, on to behind the scenes. Many of the top competitive eaters have made this a career. Matt Megatoad Stoney, age 25, has a net worth of $500 million as a competitive eater and YouTuber. We are professionals. We aren't just average Joes who have big appetites. We've calculated our techniques and approaches to these contests, and we've trained our bodies and worked for what we've accomplished, says Stoney. Competitors of the sport endure rigorous personal training under extreme medical supervision. The key to success is stomach elasticity. That means elasticity means how stretchy a material is, how far it can stretch. Training involves months of stretching the stomach further and further. Due to the risks involved with this type of training, the International Federation of Competitive Eating discourages anyone from enduring this intense training. Medical professionals have studied the effects of speed eating or binge eating, and they determined that the stress put on the stomach during training and events can cause serious side effects. These include ulcers and stomach perforations, water intoxication from gulping abnormally large quantities of water, choking, nausea, vomiting, and even death. All speed eating contests are attended by emergency responders for these reasons. Okay, there's a couple of text features I want to point out to you. To the left is a chart, Nathan's hot dog eating contest winners by year. So we have men on the left-hand side, women on the right-hand side, their names and how many hot dogs they consumed in the year. Why don't you look over that and see what you notice? I noticed that Joey Chestnut is pretty much the clear winner. He seems to be the one to beat, and the number of hot dogs consumed each year goes up about 1 or 2 per year, except for Matt Stoney, who won here, but Joey Chestnut did the same thing like 5 years earlier. I wonder where Joey Chestnut was. Maybe he didn't compete that year. Something must have gone wrong. Maybe he had to disqualify or something. I don't know. I'd have to research it. 2015 Nathan's Hot Dog Contest. Find out what's going on there. And on the women's side, we see 2 different competitors, Sonia Thomas and then Miko Sudo. So Sonia Thomas had 40, then Miko came on the scene with the low 30s, and then 41, but then it dropped back down to 37. So if you compare the women's to the men's, obviously men's have much bigger stomachs or more elasticity in their stomachs than women, because they can eat almost twice as many hot dogs in the same amount of time. It's very interesting. Now let's go up to this text feature. This is Miko Sudo. This was 2017, so this is when she ate those 41 hot dogs. And there she is showing off her belts in 2017. She's holding, looks like 3 belts. And in 2017, yes, she had won several other times before that. So she's holding her previous trophies there, her belts. All right, it's time for you to head back to the behind the scenes section and add your key facts. And after you do that, I want you to write an objective summary of what the whole article is about. And an objective summary should be 2 to 3 sentences long. It should be objective, meaning you don't insert your opinions. You can't say, oh, this is disgusting. That would be an opinion. That's really not what the article says. You want to report the facts like you're a newspaper reporter, just the most important information in your summary of what this entire article is about. Okay, so add your Cornell notes and do the summary, turn that in, and you are finished with your Cornell notes for today.